Hey guys, it's Ashley, and sorry I didn't post a recap on last week's episode. It's because last week one of my cats passed away, and I know some people was like, that's just like a cat or like an animal, but I took it pretty hard, and not only that, I just wasn't in the mood. Like, it kind of got me depressed, and I kind of just got lazy too. I'm gonna be doing a recap on this episode, and next week's episode, I can't wait because Hannah is finally gonna be in it. It's episode 5, and it looks really good and like creepy. I just kind of like it. I like the creepiness to this show. That's what keeps me watching, is the creepiness to it. You finally can see my purple hair in this lighting at least, but I kind of look like a vampire with this lighting too. So yeah, and there's no intro for these recaps. I'm sorry, I just can't make an intro for these recaps for some reason. But anyway, I'm just gonna start the recap. This is my Ravenswood recap of episode 4 season 1, Devil Has a Face. It was pretty good. It was really good. I liked the ending. It was a nice ending. It wasn't like one of those creepy endings where it was like, oh my gosh. It was like, oh, that's so amazing. If you watched, you know what I'm talking about. So it first starts off with Miranda in the graveyard. She's still kind of like lost, and then she thinks she sees Abby wandering right by her gravestone, where it says Abby, whatever her name is. And then as soon as she sees Miranda, and there's like all these other high school kids, as soon as they see Miranda, they all like run away and disappear. Also, Caleb still in touch with Hannah by email and like calling and all that. And he had a hard time writing Hannah an email to, just to see like what's been up. Like he doesn't know if he should lie to her, and he already lied to her once, and that wasn't a good thing. So he doesn't really know what to say in the letter. Basically, Luke is still, I don't like Luke. He just annoys me. I don't know if it's just me, but I don't know, like his scenes, they like bore me. Like I don't really pay attention. But anyway, he's still like skeptical about the whole supernatural thing. He doesn't want to believe it, and so when he's riding his bike, this raven starts gets caught in one of his wheels, and the bike crashes, and then he gets like a skinned knee, and all that, and then he sees like the dead raven caught in his wheel, and he kind of looks at it like, maybe something is up. And also Remy, while she was getting a glass of water, she saw the water as like blood. I guess it was supposed to be blood. I don't know, it was like red water. She was actually awake, but she was like hallucinating it to be his blood, and she dropped it. And then when her dad like went in to hug her, she like screamed really loud, like she was so jumpy, but it just happened to be water. And also her parents, well, her dad mostly, is like letting her date Luke now. I don't really like Luke at all. He bothers me for some reason. Olivia's mom and Miranda's uncle, wasn't that his name, Raymond Collins? They were seen like talking to each other, and Olivia's mom says that they were classmates, and he never saw her when Olivia's father was alive, because she asked her mom how do they know each other. They seem like to know each other really well, and also they think that Miranda's uncle killed Olivia and Luke's dad because he was stabbed, and they don't know, they can't find what stabbed him. And while they were in Raymond's office, they found like this sword, and he was cleaning it, and Miranda was in there, but of course he can't see her because she's a ghost. Only Remy can see Miranda, Caleb obviously, and recently is Olivia. Olivia goes to Caleb's house. Well, it's Miranda's uncle's house, but you know what I'm saying. They start talking, which I thought was a nice scene. Like their friendship is like pretty cool. Olivia and Miranda's friendship. They start talking, and all of a sudden Miranda admits that maybe she can't leave there because she's getting close to some things or someone, to people, but he already has a girlfriend, and so it's obviously pointing to Caleb. You know, like she actually has feelings for Caleb, but obviously she has no chance with him because one, he has a girlfriend, Hannah, and two, which Olivia tells her that she's not available because she's a ghost. You know, which is kind of a sad thing, you know, like I just felt really bad for Miranda. It's just like, oh. Miranda shows Olivia around. She leads her to the uncle's like office or whatever, and they find out that the uncle has been keeping dead people's hairs in jars. Remember, he cut a piece of Miranda's hair, and we were like all wondering like, why'd he do that? And that doesn't really surprise me though. He looks on the creepy side and something's up with him. So yeah, they find all these jars of like dead people's hairs in it with their names on it and when they died. And he also kept Abby's hair in, and then the jar breaks that Miranda's hair was in, and things happen. And then all of a sudden Miranda, she just appears outside of the graveyard, like outside of the fence. Remember how she couldn't exit the fence, but she's outside of the fence now. And then Olivia she has Abby's hair in the jar, and then she just leaves it somewhere in the office and she just runs out. Also, Remy and Caleb, I really like their friendship. You know, I really do. They think that they might have found, like, Caleb, he came across this old lady, and this old lady recognized him, Caleb Rivers, as because he looks exactly like the guy that died like a long time ago. She was like kind of linked to Caleb Rivers, the guy that died a long time ago, his brother or whatever. So she gave them like she told him like where that guy lived. Talking in the graveyard, and all of a sudden they see like these like hands under like this white sheet where it's on the grass, and then they lift it up and it has the word go like written in the dirt. So Remy says, okay, I'll drive, because she wasn't planning on going with him. So they go and they meet up with this really old guy, was Caleb Rivers' brother, the other Caleb Rivers. So then we see them playing chess with the old guy, and he asks Caleb about like, why'd you come here and all of that, and Caleb explains to him about the pact and the occurrences they've been having and all of that. He just tells Caleb that he needs to be more careful, and then he calls the caretaker to bring him back to his room. So he wasn't really much of a help at all, you know, like not really. And then later in the episode, Miranda's alone in the uncle's house, and she writes the letter for Caleb. She doesn't send it, but she writes it for him, saying that everything's okay, I'll be back in Rosewood before you know it, and all that. Then Caleb finds out and he gets really mad because he doesn't want to just forget about everything. He doesn't want to forget about the pact, he doesn't want to forget about the curse, he doesn't want to forget about Miranda, all of that. And then all of a sudden, Caleb's old uncle, that old guy that they were talking to, he suddenly appears and he gives Caleb these keys that were around his neck, and it's like he's afraid of something. Like he's really like he just wants to get out of there really quickly. He says something about it's your turn now or something like that. I don't know, and he doesn't really say like where the keys are, what the keys are for or anything. But then we see Caleb and Remy at like the school's closet or something, and they look through it, all these boxes, and they find a chest. Try to open it with the key. The key is like all rusty and old, so it breaks. But then in the end of the episode, we see Caleb just like so frustrated with everything as he just throws the chest down and starts kicking it, and it just opens. But we don't know what's in the chest. They don't reveal what's in the chest. So I'm hoping they reveal it in next week's episode, because I'm kind of dying to know. Also with Luke, I wasn't really paying attention, but him and that blonde girl that was Olivia's best friend in the other episode, not last week's episode, but the other episode, but they are playing like love interests in this play. All of a sudden, while they're rehearsing, she kisses him, and then he's like really like shocked and mad about it. But then he goes in to kiss her and realizes maybe he has feelings for this girl, you know, and he's like dating Remy, and like he just pretty much cheated And so also in the end he admits to Remy that he kissed that girl. And yeah, and I guess they broken up, right? I mean, they don't really say, but just by watching that episode, I'm pretty sure they broke up because Remy looked really upset about it. And when her dad came down the stairs, he kind of interrupted them, and she said that no, he can't stay. So I didn't really like them together. Well, actually, no. At the beginning, I thought they were a cute couple, but then afterwards, started to realize this guy Luke, he bothers me. So yeah, I don't really like them together. Also, while they're rehearsing for the play, Luke and that girl, Miranda, appears, and she all of a sudden sees her mom on the stage. Like no one else can see them but Luke, and he gets kind of freaked out when he does see her, so he can see her. So yeah, she reconnects with her mom, which was like a nice scene, but the thing that caught me was she was like, "Mom," and then the mom was smiling though. She was like, does that have to do anything with Pretty Little Liars? Like the whole thing with Arya going like this, or like Allison's she's always doing this. Like, does that have to do with anything? I don't know. I just caught that, and then they hold hands, and it was just a nice scene, and they were both glowing. It was like, oh, she finally reconnected with her mom. She's been looking for her mom this whole time, and she finally found her mom. Oh, so sweet. So anyway, other four, Luke, Remy, Caleb, and Olivia, they're backstage in the curtains, and they're talking all about this whole curse or whatever, and all of a sudden Caleb sees this rope that's breaking, that's holding up these pointy fence looking things, or these knives, or I don't know, it was something really heavy though, and that could hurt them, and they're like, guys, watch out. So he pushes them to the ground, and then the thing falls. Then Luke kind of believes that, okay, maybe something is out to get us, maybe this whole thing is real, maybe my friends aren't crazy or something. Last week's episode, I thought he would have believed it already, but I guess he's one of those people that he actually needs to see it in the face to notice. But anyway, towards the end, we see Miranda and her mom walking to a door that's walking toward the light, they finally found peace. But I don't know, because in the promo for next week's episode, she's in the episode, so I don't really know. And next week's episode looks really good. There's that little girl, remember in the Halloween episode Pretty Little Liars, we saw those two blonde girls, those twins in the red coats. One of them is in that episode, and they're making her look really, really creepy. So we really need to keep watching out for that. What do you guys think of these episodes? What do you think of the series? Do you think it's boring? Do you think it's cool? Do you think it's scary? I don't really think it's scary that much anymore. I kind of got over it. It's not that bad now. Pretty cool. What do you think about Miranda's uncle? I think he's really creepy. Hope you guys like my recap. Bye guys. Peace out.